Well, I know you haven't seen this uke on screen in a long time, but this is a very special uke to me. I hold it near and dear to my heart because it's my first ukulele. This is a Kala tenor acacia ukulele that I picked up back in 2010, and yes, it has a story. And speaking of stories, I want to hear the story of your first ukulele. Where did you get your first uke, and does it have a story behind it? I'd love to hear that in the comments below. I'd love for you to share it with the community. So grab an ice cold beverage, get yourself cozy, and let's get into the story of my first ukulele. Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and click that alert bell so you know when the next video is coming your way. If you're interested in more learning resources, head over to AllForUke.com where we have a full searchable library of songs, song sheets, practice tracks, worksheets, and more. All for you, AllForUke.com. Well, the story of this uke can be traced way back to 2010 when I was out in a place called Iowa, which is greater known as the land of ukulele. Well, actually it's known more for its corn, but I was actually out in Iowa performing some concerts, and I just happened to have an afternoon off where I was kind of just looking for some fun stuff to do, and a lot of times I like to go venture into local music shops. So I went walking into this place called Griggs Music, and it was really kind of a serendipitous day if I look back on it. I walked in, I looked at the wall, and I saw this big display of Kala ukuleles. And I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty cool. I've never really seen ukes that looked like real instruments. Before that, I thought ukuleles were really just souvenirs and kind of trinkets and things that you brought back from Hawaii. I guess I was pretty ignorant to the whole concept of ukulele. So I look over and I see this kid strumming on one of the ukes, and it sounded pretty cool. So I was intrigued and went over to the wall and grabbed this uke off the wall, actually. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. This is a little bigger than what I anticipated. And because I came from playing guitar, I thought, well, this might actually kind of feel a little bit more like an instrument in my hands. So I sat down on the couch and started plinking around with the uke. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was trying to play it like a guitar. And fortunately, the store owner came walking in, and he was a kind of uke guru for the time, and he said, hey, you know that a lot of the little shapes that you play on the bottom four strings of the guitar can be applied to this instrument. So he showed me a couple of shapes, and he showed me a couple of chords, and then it was like, boom, all of a sudden I was hooked in to this magic of the uke. 3 hours or so pass, and I'm still in this shop plucking around on this uke, thinking to myself, should I buy this? Or is this kind of a frivolous thing? Do I really need another instrument? Am I actually going to play this? And then I made an impulse decision and I bought it. So I went up to the store owner and I said, yes, I will take this uke. He said, that's a great decision. Here's a case for it. Here's a tuner. And here's a little pamphlet with some chords on it. Have yourself a great day. Thanks for buying this uke. So I walked out of the store, uke in hand, and off to a little park I went to try to figure out how to play this instrument. So after my performances in Iowa, I drove back to Chicago. I walked into my parents' house with my newfound love, broke it out, and my dad said, what are you trying to be, Tiny Tim or something? And I was like, well, no, but this thing's pretty cool. You should hear it. So we popped on to a little place called YouTube, the place where we can learn how to do anything. So I get on YouTube and I search up ukulele songs. And the first one that comes up, and this was also very serendipitous, was Jake Shimabukuro's While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Now my dad was a big Beatles fan like myself, so I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna see somebody play this song on a ukulele. Well, my mind was blown, and still continues to be blown, by Jake Shimabukuro. But once I saw that video, I saw the potential that this instrument had to be more than just a toy or a little fun instrument that you can play. I saw that you could play anything on this instrument, and that just really sparked me to want to learn more. So in that time period there, in the first couple of months, I spent a lot of time on YouTube, on different channels. I followed Ukulele Mike, I followed the Ukulele Underground, I was getting on uke tabs, I was doing anything I could to absorb information about the uke. And I kept playing, and I would practice and practice and practice all into the night. It just became really an obsession, and This instrument felt so good to play that it was just natural to sit down and pick it up. It was comfortable, it was small, I could lay on the couch, I could sit on the couch, I could do anything I want and just really sit and play an instrument, which I couldn't really do with guitar before. So this whole new era was kind of forming and starting for me. Everything was so new and exciting with this instrument. I was picking up new songs. I fell in love with Is Somewhere Over the Rainbow and Jake's While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I started plinking around with Bohemian Rhapsody, which was way out of my league at the time, but it was super fun to play and it sounded cool on the uke. So I just kept going with it, learning more songs, and then I started taking a stab at writing my own songs. And I came up with a couple of little ditties that I thought were pretty cool. And then I just had this idea like, hey, maybe I'll upload these to YouTube. That sounds like a good idea. I don't know what I'm doing, but why not? Let's give it a try. So I had this song called The Happiest Ukulele Song in the World that I recorded on some rock on a lake somewhere in central Illinois. I uploaded it from my phone, put it on YouTube, and totally forgot about it. And then it sat there for quite a long time before I even knew that a bunch of people had watched it, made comments on it, and told me that I looked like the guy from How I Met Your Mother, which I thought at the time was kind of weird. But after all the comment battling, I thought it was pretty cool because a lot more of you guys saw these uke videos. I was learning songs, I was writing songs, I was uploading a few videos, and I was building confidence on the instrument, and I was really starting to crave bringing this on stage with me when I was performing. So I took it to my local luthier, really nice guy named Rick Kramer, who I've worked with for years, and he installed this cool electronic system in here so that I could amplify this uke. So we put in a Fishman electronic system, and all of a sudden my uke came to life. I started taking it with me to performances, and it became this cool little unique thing. In between my guitar sets, I would play a bunch of uke songs, and people were really starting to take an interest, and a few people even asked me if I could teach them how to play. Well, that's where the story takes a little turn. And somebody comes up to me and says, hey, I actually work at a music shop and we need a teacher for this small group class that we just started on the uke. Would you be interested in doing it? And I thought, well, I've never taught uke before, but I feel like I'm dangerous enough that I could show you guys how to play a few chords. So I decided, yeah, I think I'll do it. So that was the day that I started teaching the uke, and I haven't stopped ever since. That class turned into more classes, private students, more YouTube uploads, more videos, me continuing to learn more about this instrument, taking some lessons from some other uke players, and really just kind of building the confidence all into what now has become AllForUke. Well, I really appreciate you joining me for the story of my first uke. And again, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to this uke, and thank you to Kala, because Kala was the first introduction I had to ukulele, and now full circle here in 2022, I'm back playing Kala ukes, and I'm loving every minute of it. I encourage you to share your stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Where did you find your uke? Did you buy it online? Was it an impulse buy at a store? Tell me how you got into the instrument, and maybe share some of the first experiences you had, the first songs you learned, the first videos you watched, and just really embrace this instrument for what it is. It's a learning tool. It can bring you lots of new experiences, so much joy, and I just can't say enough about how much I love the uke and everything that it's brought to my life, and I'm sure you feel the same. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Kevin. I'll see you next time. Let's